Are you Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, half Asian? Hi everyone, it's AlyMew here to take you behind the scenes how it is to be an Asian American girl growing up in America, of course. I mean, this is going to be from my perspective, so it might not be the same for everyone, especially since we all grew up in different areas. I think lately, Asians in America are pretty much accepted, but racism is always going to exist, of course. I still think when I was really young, it wasn't fun growing up. When I was in kindergarten, I was 5 years old, and I remember kids used to pull back their eyes. I mean, and now I can probably shrug it off, but it's kind of offensive if you think about it. Or the usual mockery how Chinese or Asian languages seem to merge into Ching Chong. I have heard most Asian languages, and there isn't one that has that specific phrase in it. I remember getting really upset at a kid telling me that I eat dogs and cats. Even when I was young, I loved animals. My favorite were rabbits, and hearing that, would definitely upset me, even no matter how much I would say, try to say, no, I don't. Kids would still be like, no, you're Asian, you eat, dogs, cats, and everything. I remember the screwed up stuff I heard or told that, you're not pretty because you're Asian. There aren't many Asian celebrities at the time when I was growing up, or even, there weren't any, ad campaigns. Obviously it's America. It's a lot of, they tried to mix in black girl and Caucasian girl, maybe Hispanic girl, and I think recently, I do have to say they have been throwing Asian girls, which is awesome for girls who are growing up now, which is, awesome. But, I was always wondering when I was a kid, Barbies were always blonde and blue eyes. Why is it that most shows depicted, popular girls would never be an Asian girl? I had really low self-esteem as a child, and like most Asian kids, characteristics, we tend to be quiet and submissive. I mean, this isn't for everybody. I'm just saying generally, that's what usually typically happens. I also hated how when kids would automatically assume that if I just so happened to sit next to a boy who was Asian, they would make fun of us and say that we were together. I think another thing is I was so quiet because even at home, I never really had much of a say in anything. My parents would make me, they would force me to go take violin lessons, like typical stuff. They would make me take piano lessons. I was forced to take swimming lessons, and also even going to Saturday school where I learned math and English and all the subjects ahead of time, which made me, quote unquote smarter, but that's because I was taking extra courses. Anyway, my parents would always listen to my older sister. Even if she messed up, she would blame it on me. And my parents are old school, and my dad used to actually hit me a lot. He stopped at some point, but most immigrant parents would hit their children to discipline them. I was probably hit with anything that can hurt you in the house. You name it, a pot, clothes hanger, etc. It was used. I think the one thing I really remember and won't forget was when my mom was sick and she was yelling at my older sister, and she needed medicine. My sister was way more shy than me, even to talk to people, but we both knew how to speak English, unlike my parents who spoke broken English. My sister was breaking down, she was crying, she was being scolded, and I was really young, and I felt so bad for my sister, so I stepped in. I was like, Mom, stop it, I'll get the medicine. And I can laugh at it now, but just thinking about being hit, it did discipline me, but I don't know, I just think I don't know. It's getting emotional slightly, but I know when I did something stupid, my parents would discipline me a lot, and I just remember going in my head and I was going crazy because I was like, when is this gonna stop? When is this gonna stop? And the hurting would never stop, but it did stop when I got older. But I can say it's made me numb to physical pain, and I can tell you mental pain is something that's more harsh than physical pain. And dealing with people in your life and things that throw at you that can't compare at all to physical pain. So I guess that's something I learned. This all changed a lot. My thoughts, like the way I thought about being Asian, really changed in middle school. I went to a very specialized middle school. Your state scores, your math, reading, report card, your audition for a talent to secure your spot would let you, get into the school. And it might sound weird to you guys, but, living in a city such as New York City, if you went to any specialized school, there is a huge portion of Asians that actually attended. So, as mixed up my school was, the popular kids were actually the pretty Asians. I know it's going to be hard to believe because I know I talk to other people from different states. That usually doesn't happen. In our city, for some reason, it does. And this is when YouTube actually started exploding. When YouTube first came out. And I remember I was being exposed to J-pop, K-pop, and the fashion rubbed off on a lot of us. Instead of, plain black hair, I had light brown hair when I was in middle school already. And one of my pop star idols, Ayumi Hamasaki, you guys need to look her up. She's amazing. She has gorgeous eyes. Her eyes reminded me of mine. And, they were enhanced with makeup, but I could relate to her. And that's when I started to begin to experiment with makeup. I felt really pretty. I don't think I was really locked in a clique in middle school, but I also stopped being quiet. And I remember thinking to myself, what does it really accomplish if I was so quiet? Really? Allie, Sally, wake up. And I started to socialize a lot, and I became loud. And when high school came around, I ended up in my first year at my local high school. It was very mixed, and there was a huge Chinese population, but it was full of fobs. For those of you guys who don't know what that means, it means fresh off the boat, but I think that needs to be updated to FOPs, fresh off the planes. That's what American Asians would call another Asian if they weren't born, in America. By the way, I would never seek out to just hang out with Asian people. I know it's like a stereotype, and it is true. I've seen it before. Asians tend to want to go to other Asians and form a group. That's not how I am. If I just so happen to know somebody that I can get along, then they're Asian, then fine, so be it. But usually I hang out with a very mixed crowd. Anyway, sidetracked. Anyway, it was strange to see a division between the Chinese kids in my school. There were the ones who spoke a specific dialect called Mandarin, and then they'll be segregated with the kids from the ones that spoke Cantonese, which I actually know how to speak not that well. I just so happened to sit with the ones that spoke Cantonese, and they spoke to me and introduced themselves. I understood what they said, but I'm not fluent at all, and, have an American accent when I speak. They laughed at me. They told me, "Oh, you're so pretty, but your accent's weird. You're one of those ABCs, American-born Chinese." To think that there's actually discrimination within the Asian community is hilarious. It gets really worse, because when I think about it, I actually transferred to a specialized high school for my second year. This was in the city, which is awesome. I loved going to Lincoln Center. I went to Fiorello LaGuardia, also known as the school based off of the School of Fame. Anyway, at this school, the Korean kids would actually have a club called the Korean Club, where they don't physically state it, but it was only meant for Korean Christians. This wasn't the only high school that did it. It was other high schools that my friends attended, like Stuyvesant, Brooklyn Tech, I think, also some other ones, Bronx. They actually did that too, and I thought it was really, really weird. Anyway, most high schools in New York City, by the way, don't have homecoming, like football, because not every high school can have a football field, if you think about it. I never thought about it, but I was like, hey, I never had homecoming. We didn't really have cheerleaders either. So there weren't the typical cliques you saw. I felt like, a strange coming into actually the second year, because I was new, and I was getting a lot of attention from both, guys and girls, and it felt really weird to have guys actually confess to me, and they're like, "I like you," and it started to wear down on me because I felt so bad because I had a boyfriend, And I don't know, I just don't like breaking hearts. It got really annoying also when I would visit my boyfriend. He went to Stuyvesant in the other part of the town. I think it's like Chelsea Piers area. I'd go to his Tai Chi club, which they had it outside at the park near there, and I would visit, and his friends from club would be there, and I'm still waiting for my boyfriend, and it would be annoying because his friends would try to talk to me, and it's like they had intentions of getting my number and stuff, so it's really awkward. By the time college rolled around, I was pretty confident with who I am and how I looked. And, what bothers me slightly is people tend to guess if I'm Korean or Japanese or mixed. And it makes me wonder, is it because, the assumption that other races are prettier? That, maybe Chinese aren't as pretty. So, that kind of ifs me a little bit. But, that's how I feel, in my opinion, and my, I guess, my opinion of stuff. And also, I actually, whenever I go to auditions, I get comments that I don't look like a stereotypical Asian girl. My eyes are too big. My hair is not black. Is this what Asian girls have to be portrayed in American film? It's interesting, right? And Goku wasn't played by an Asian actor. Why? I am proud to be Asian American, Chinese American to be exact. I have such an awesome heritage. I'm loud, I'm strong, I'm not afraid of being myself. Doing YouTube does draw attention, both bad and good. I have been hit with pretty messed up comments regarding, being Asian on top of it being a girl. But at this point of my life, it doesn't really bother me, All those experiences, once you keep getting stabbed, right, it just starts, you don't feel anything anymore. You just become stronger. And I know that I am cute and that my eyes are my best features. I don't eat fuzzy animals. My cat Kira, I cherish him as he's my own son. My dad calls Kira his grandson. I might not be CL from 2NE1, but I am AlyMew, and I think I can live with that. What are your stories about growing up? Have you ever gotten made fun of because of your race? Let me know. I'm pretty sure this is a really, really controversial commentary. Oops.